You know, it's almost like your birthday with a package from China, so let's go. So let's take a close look in the inside. So when you're looking at these devices, think about Super Console X, products like those. Basically what you're going to get are like very old Android boxes that they converted into a game box. But this thing has some interesting specifications, but also when it comes to the hardware. And I get the idea that they are listening and watching our videos, because now we're going to get a fan in the middle. Inside the box we're going to get our basic stuff. I'm guessing this is a 5V, yep, it is a 5V 2A power supply for giving you some juice, an HDMI cable. Also we're going to get ourselves a card reader, and yep, oh yeah, we're going to get some toilet paper manuals with explanation how everything works. With my previous videos of the Super Console X, the main problem was like these tiny boxes can like lose their heat because there was no ventilation holes or no fan whatsoever. But this thing, they did a different job at adding a tiny fan. So it is going to be helping in the long term. That is something we need to find out in the future. So what you're going to get at the back is an HDMI port, input power supply, SPIF out, AV out, but take consideration not always the AV out will work on these devices, 2 USB ports and of course the DF slot. So let's take a close look at this. Look at this, like it does says like X5, that's it. Look, basically they made a unique CF card for this piece of hardware. Doesn't state any, let's say, configuration, or doesn't say how big the SD card is. Oh yeah, they smell chemical, I can tell you that. Okay, but let's take a close look at the control itself. So this thing is like feeling really cheap. I must say that I do fancy that they have like these nice translucent buttons, or saying like the ABXY. Didn't see that before, but they feel really cheap. I think there is no vibration motor whatsoever inside. So the first thing that we're going to do is removing the 4 parkers over here, and then we're going to break the seal, because Wicked loves to do that. Another thing, yeah, I'm hoping that they don't click too much of these freaking piece of plastic together. Another thing I always recommend, like remove your CF card. Sometimes if you open it up, it's how you're possibly going to bend this one. So let's remove the 4 screws first. Alright, so let's do a quick teardown. So the bottom cover was not clicked with many pieces of plastic, so I'm very glad about that. So next up, there is no Parker whatsoever. So I see like they're using some tape over here. Don't know why, we will figure out later why this is. So let's see if we can gently remove it from the casing, just to see where we're going to pry again, because this is going to be an issue. Where did we need to stick it in? Because sometimes you break it if you try to do a teardown. Alright, something is sticky. So this is what we're going to get in the inside. So what I find quite interesting is, like, I know, like, I did see some other videos, and it is possible that you're going to get different pieces of metal when it comes to the cooling element. But okay, so what are we going to get underneath? Already my buddy ETA Prime did basically a video of the teardown. The weird thing I can recall, he had a different piece of cooling on it. Doesn't even matter, but the thing is, like, we're going to get ourselves the S905 old school chips. Also what you're going to see over here, when the production date, you can see with the production date it says, alright, so something like 2016. So this thing is like freaking old, and here you already see it says the S905. So this is like the older chips. Hey, it's better than throwing it away and make it e-waste. It's just doing the recycling the naughty way. Another thing they did is over here, the piece of paper is basically covering up because they added a fanny to this thing. And I find it quite interesting that they try to improve these things. So even they have like old tech, they try to like reuse it and make it better. So that's not really bad. Okay, so when looking at this menu, I'm getting a little bit of a Pandora's box feeling. It's kind of basic, and when it comes to configuration of this box itself, there is nothing you can do about it. What you see is what you're going to get. So when pressing L and R, you can switch between different systems. And when it comes to compatibility, I was quite surprised to see what this box has to offer. And take consideration, it's a low power device, so don't expect like very high performance for this. But still, you're paying not a lot of money, and when you're looking at what you're going to get, fancy box, a system that can play up to Sega Naomi. So it's a quite interesting concept that these boxes are getting cheaper, they're getting better, and you can play a lot of stuff. Where the Pandora's box most of the time basically stops, and I'm talking about mainly the main software when it comes to support of games, now we're going to get way more support. And that's quite interesting. We're going to get all kinds of options also when it comes to search. But despite we don't have a lot of options that we can do configuration with emulators, we still have an option to do in search results and having a quick load and quick save. And of course, if you want to go out of the game, you can go by pressing start and double click select. In other words, press select and start and you can go out of the game. So stuff that you have seen before with Pandora's boxes, but now we can do it with a cheap super game box from AliExpress. Here a quick demonstration how the search function works. So first of all, you're pressing the Y button, takes a couple of seconds to boot up into the search menu, and this works quite nice. So let's say we're going to search for Mortal Kombat, we need to use the B button, or in other words the selection button. Let's search very quickly, something that is always like an issue with some of these search engines. And that's it, like you can click your game by pressing B again, and that's it. Works like a charm. I'm very satisfied with the result. Search version works very well. Okay, so let's boot up PlayStation Portable. I can hear like it struggles sometimes. We're having the minor glitches, but the overall performance, it's quite impressive with a low power box like this. Okay, so next up N64. On cheap and let's say not powerful boxes, it will always struggle. And there's a great example going into glitching mode to the maximum level. GoldenEye is one of the most, let's say, difficult games to emulate on this. I have no idea where my buttons are. Oh, there we are. But beside the glitching, I find it a quite good performance and overall. Alright, so next up, let's play Bloody Roar 2 on the PlayStation 1. And now we have reached the moment that we can play these games perfectly on a cheap box like this. But take consideration, these systems are low power, so it will run just on native resolution. It will not be upscaled, simply because if they do that, a lot of games will not run perfectly. Go well, boy, yeah. Okay, so next up, let's see if we can play Mortal Kombat 1. So the first thing that I'm noticing is that this system does run very well, but it has this weird filter over it. Yes, Sabi Wabi. Shoot your eyes, baby. And at the same time we can try to see if we can work with the D-pad and analog stick. So the first thing that we're going to do is shoot some eyes with the D-pad. Oh, seems to be working fine. Same with the analog stick. Maximum damage, baby. Ooh, wah, wah. Yes, I clapped for myself. Yes, yes. Okay, so I've noticed with these devices when you try to play part 2 of 3, it's going to be a freaking nightmare. So let's have a quick test with this edition. But why do I get this feeling that they managed to fix this? He's going to throw the spear. Nope, he's not going to do that. But also, this game seems to be working just fine. What the hell just happened? I'm getting my ass whooped. My Scorpion! Miss me again. No, miss me again. Triple time. Hehe. Ice baby. Oh crap. So there is no Sega Dreamcast actually on the system, but you have Sega Naomi, is basically the arcade part of it. But you can already see with the selection screen it's going to be glitching. And this is what we're going to get, I think, with most of these games. It will run, got decent for FPS, but if you're looking closely, it's highly possible you're going to get a lot of glitching here and there. But overall performance is not okay. Again, take consideration, it's a really cheap, but also low powered Android box that you're using for this. Especially you can hear it in the music. You can like, it stutters all the freaking time, but if you can live with it, overall, it's not too bad. For the low power box. Yes, I shoot the rockets at you. And that's it. The Super Game Box. I must say I am surprised with this machine. Because when you're looking at the Super Console X and all the other devices, basically what you're doing with other devices is like basically slap on some ME-ELEC. And so far I know this is basically like their own software in combination with some emulators. And when you're looking at the performance, like the S905 still has some limitations to the power and also because of the age. But I find it quite fascinating to see what you're going to get. If you like tinkering, this is something you don't need to pick up in the end, because this is something you can tinker with. It's like out of the box, this is what you're going to get. And if it sucks or having problems, you need to deal with it. Let me know in the comments what you think of this. But I thank you for watching. Consider subscribing, hit that little bell, become one of the Wicked family. And I will see you in the next video.